The streaming war is heating up with several new services coming in the next few months. But what does this mean for Netflix? The new options are taking a bite out of Netflix's content, subscribers, and of course, profit. Here to chat about what to expect from your streaming services is host of In Case You Missed It by HuffPost, Heather Gardner.
Heather!
Hey, happy Friday! I should start writing in the copy Miss Heather.
Miss Heather.
Heather Gardner.
I read it and I was
here.
like, there's no Miss
Yeah,
in it.
right?
The
It's happening.
imposter. Who is she?
Well, Miss Heather,
Yes,
what are some of these new streaming services?
We could be here all day talking about the new streaming services, but there are 5 big ones that are coming out in the next few months. We're not talking about years from now. We're talking about either this year, this one launching next month, and then early into 2020, we have 5 major services that are trying to steal you away from Netflix. Not just trying to, capitalize on what Netflix did, but really trying to get you to cancel your subscription.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so rude.
Is it?
I think it is. It's rude to be like, come to us and leave your daddy. It's like Netflix was there for us when we had no one else.
That's right, the OG.
And now all these other streaming services are basically like trying to take us away. And I'm like, I want to be loyal. Like, I would rather try to get a second job to get all the other streaming services than leave Netflix.
I'm sure Netflix is going to be really happy to hear you say
leave
that.
Netflix either. I think I'm gonna get another, but I'm not gonna leave Netflix. I'll leave Hulu before I leave Netflix.
I agree.
But who?
What? I was gonna say, what are these other services?
Right, so let's go ahead and get into that first
Yeah,
of all.
tell us.
This was the new one that just was announced this week, HBO Max.
Right.
Yeah, so if you have like HBO Go, they are just taking it to the max. I think that's why they picked that name.
Right.
I hope
Yeah,
so. Anyway, so that's going to include CNN, TBS, the CW, a lot of these cable channels you'll be able to get as a streaming service, in addition to HBO's other stuff. Now, the reason that they're trying to steal you is because they have exclusively gained the rights to Friends.
Right.
I see your Jen Anderson. You
I
wore
know.
you had a good
I
day.
worked today for this discussion.
Yeah, so
That is really interesting.
it's
Really?
it's
Are you
kind of
gonna
heartbreaking.
get HBO Max for Friends?
But-
I'm so tired of people whoring themselves out for this fucking mediocre show. Buy the fucking
Sorry.
DVDs and stop these streaming wars over Friends.
I own the DVDs.
No, Friends. I'm tired of Friends. I can't believe that Netflix paid $100 million to have it for just 1 year. And then I'm like, all my beautiful Netflix originals are suffering because of this stupid ass heteronormative bullshit. Buy the DVDs, stay home, and stop doing
Or
this.
go to Hulu and watch Living Single because that was the original Friends, and Friends stole its concept from that show. I'm just jumping.
Wow, I feel like I need to like remove myself. Let's get at it.
Friends leaving Netflix when it gets to what's happening right now. This past quarter, Netflix lost over 100,000 subscribers when they're expected to gain over 300,000 subscribers. This is the first time in 8 years this has happened.
Yeah, it's because they raised their prices.
Yeah.
And they had to, because let's just face it, they spent $100 million on Friends. Also, Stranger Things, which we love. I mean, they spent $8 million per episode just for Stranger Things. They are really diving into their original content, as they should. But for that reason, they had to raise prices, and that's why they lost.
Wait, is HBO Max gonna have the new Jen Aniston show, or is that the Disney?
That's
app?
That's
That's
Apple.
actually Apple.
That's
yeah.
Apple.
So that's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do.
So I know my streamers coming out.
Oh,
I'm
good.
very excited.
He
But
just pulls out streamers.
there's this great New York Times article about the streaming wars that are happening, and that
So many.
these companies are just looking for content that possibly HBO one day will have game shows. That's like what they're aiming at. So do you think it's like this is a time for creatives now that because there's people, just every service needs shows.
Every service needs an enormous amount of content. I think it was HBO Max, or it may have been Apple. I'm getting them confused now too. But they're going to start with over 100 hours of, or no, 10,000 hours of
HBO
content.
Max,
Yeah,
10,000 hours.
I mean, just like from day one, 10,000 hours of content for you to watch. And you're not going to get through it. You're going to want something new every time. Netflix lived off of for so many years just all of our old content. And then they decided that they had to have new content. There had to be a reason for you to keep coming back because Friends wasn't cutting it.
Right. And the big thing also is Disney.
Really disappointed.
Well, Disney Plus. That's
Disney
another,
Plus,
they're pulling
yes.
Marvel.
I will definitely sign up for Disney Plus.
That's-
It's really cheap too. It's on the cheaper side. It's only $7 a month.
Yeah.
Which is like a dream if you are a parent. Did you have all the VHSs?
Yeah.
I had every single one of them in a giant. Oh gosh, it was this big, I think. But the case case that used to hold them all. So this is perfect if you have kids or if you're just a Disney fanatic. $7 a month. And slowly but surely, Disney's going to be removing all of their content off of Netflix, including Marvel.
Right, another interesting one because also, besides Friends, the most popular show is The Office on Netflix. NBC Universal's launching one, which is free if you have a cable subscription and $12 if you don't. And I think that's a big one too because The Office and all those NBC Universal
You know, it's
shows.
funny. That's the newest one to kind of just announce that they were coming out, and the only thing they said is, we have The Office. They didn't really say anything else besides the price. They didn't say what else they're putting on. There's like, just letting you know, 2021, we got The Office.
But there are kids these days, I'm 25, but like, who are like, have you seen The Office? It's funny. Like, yeah, I watched it when it was live.
So I was that person with Friends. I was a little young when it came out in the 90s, so I didn't watch it until it was on Netflix.
That's okay.
It's true.
I'm interested though, a lot of NBC's content is on Hulu, so then Hulu might take a hit because they have all of SNL's old shows.
NBC owns
Hulu's not taking a hit. Yes, because Hulu just sold off a ton of its shares, and Disney now has the most majority stake in Hulu. So there's going to be a lot of crossover, and I think Hulu they've only really been focused on a couple of their like original shows. I think Handmaid's Tale is like the biggest one, but really their business model is getting you off of cable. Like you can watch This Is Us the next day. You can watch all those others. So they have a completely different business model.
Also, it's going to be now FX Plus is folding, forming into Hulu. So like American Horror Story, all those Ryan Murphy
are going to
FX
leave
shows.
Netflix.
Atlanta are going to go to Hulu. So it's going to become Disney Plus will be more family friendly, PG-13 and below, and Hulu become Handmaid's Tale.
So what new shows can we look forward to on these services?
So Amazon, who is not trying to steal anything yet from Netflix that we know of, but they are trying to steal people from the Game of Thrones void. That is now, you're nodding like, yes, I can't wait to talk about this. Do you want to announce it? Should I let you have the moment?
Lord of the Rings. They're making a 5-season TV show. It's going to cost $1 billion about the second age of Middle Earth. I am so pumped. Who else is pumped? Yes, Amazon.
Next time I'm just going to come here and be like, thank you for having me. Lucas, take it away.
I know my TV.
This is his playground.
No, you're right. They spent $1 billion, $250 million alone just on the rights for The Lord of the Rings. And basically it's because there's nothing to do on Sunday nights anymore now that Game of Thrones is over. However, are you familiar with The Witcher coming out on Netflix?
I am not as familiar with Lord of the Rings, but I know it's another fantasy show kind of coming.
Yes, so that one's coming out this year though, and I think they might release the trailer this week for what's Comic-Con. Yeah, so that's another big one too. So Netflix again is trying to do whatever they can. They're really doubling down on their original content because everybody else is. Trying to get those Game of Thrones fans.
I just got so jealous that you were just like having a moment with Lucas.
Sorry.
I felt like I was giving you a big
No, but I just feel like this whole thing is kind of you and Lucas. And
I hate it. And you come sit here between us, and then you're like, oh, Lucas.
And you're just leaving me hanging as I'm trying to hold hands with them.
Sorry that I know my TV shows.
Well, so do we.
Yeah, you do. Shannon knows Netflix deep cuts more than anyone.
Yeah.
So basically the question is though, like, are we gonna cut the cord for Netflix? I mean, you get a very strong reaction.
I'm not gonna leave Netflix.
I don't think so either.
Especially Netflix is a part of the fabric of our culture. We're not
really
leaving
is.
you, Netflix. We are with you.
I think Netflix originals, like their shows are so good. Like I honestly like Sex Education. Dark is my favorite
I watched
show
it last
of all
night and I
time.
couldn't wait to talk to you about it. So you know,
Yes, finally, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love Dark so much. It's the best show I've ever
PG.
seen. You're
Straight.
down. You're canceled.
I missed my
You're so
chance.
far from
I
me.
missed my chance.
You're out.
I'm out.
That was so
But
pure.
okay.
When she leaned in, I was like,
I thought you were about to make it.
all I heard was Kelly Clarkson a moment like this. It's just like this is happening. I was
My
like, oh
husband would have loved that. He probably would have loved
It's not for him, okay? It's not for him. I'm gonna steal your wife.
On that note, Heather, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys.
And you can catch In Case You Missed It by HuffPost on HuffPost.com and Yahoo's Roku channel.